Imagine standing in a room full of people, all eyes on you, waiting for your words. Your voice is steady, your message clear, and everyone listens, not just hearing you, but feeling your words. That's the power of speaking with authority. Whether you're pitching an idea at work, leading a team, or sharing your story with friends, how you speak shapes how others see you. This book, How to Speak with Authority and Power, is your guide to mastering that skill. It's not about being loud or forceful. It's about being clear, confident, and authentic. You don't need to be born with a gift for speaking. Anyone can learn to command attention and inspire trust with the right tools and practice. Why does this matter? In today's world, communication is everything. Studies show that 85% of job success comes from strong interpersonal skills, including how you speak. Carnegie Foundation 2010. Yet many of us struggle, nervous stumbles, unclear thoughts, or voices that don't carry the weight we want. I've been there too, second-guessing my words in big moments. But I learned that speaking with power is a skill, not a talent. This book will show you how to build that skill step by step so you can shine in meetings, tough conversations, or even virtual calls. What's inside? We'll cover practical ways to strengthen your voice, boost your confidence, and craft messages that stick. You'll learn how to read a room, handle conflict, and tell stories that move people. Each chapter gives you exercises and action steps to practice right away, drawn from real-world examples like leaders who captivate audiences and everyday people who transformed their speech. Think of this as your personal coaching session, packed with tools to make your words matter. You already have a voice. This book will help you make it powerful. By the end, you'll walk into any room or Zoom call, knowing you can speak with clarity and impact. Ready to start? Let's dive in and unlock the authority within you. Chapter 1. The Foundation of Powerful Speech. You're about to give a presentation and your heart races. Will they listen? Will they care? Speaking with authority starts with a strong foundation, knowing what makes your words powerful. This chapter is about building that base: clarity, confidence, and authenticity. When you speak, you want people to trust you, lean in, and remember what you said. Let's explore how to make that happen with practical steps you can use right away. You don't need to be a natural speaker. You just need to understand a few key ideas and practice them daily. Your voice is stronger than you think. Let's uncover its power. First, let's talk about what makes speech authoritative. It's not about shouting or using big words. It's about being clear and intentional. A study by Albert Mehrabian in 1971 found that 7% of communication comes from words, 38% from tone, and 55% from body language. This means how you sound and look matters more than what you say. A shaky voice or slouched posture can weaken even the best message, but a steady tone and open stance, that grabs attention. Think of someone like Oprah Winfrey. When she speaks, her warm tone, deliberate pauses, and direct eye contact make you feel like she's talking just to you. You can do this too with practice. Clarity is your starting point. If people can't follow your words, they won't trust your message. Mumbling or rushing through sentences confuses listeners. Instead, slow down and choose simple words. For example, instead of saying, "We need to optimize our operational efficiency," say, "Let's make our work faster and easier." Clear speech shows you respect your audience's time. To practice, try this exercise. Pick a short paragraph from a book or article. Read it out loud slowly, focusing on pronouncing each word clearly. Record yourself on your phone and listen back. Do you sound confident? Are your words easy to understand? If not, try again, standing tall and breathing deeply before you start. This small habit builds clarity over time. Next, let's focus on tone. A monotone voice puts people to sleep, while a varied tone keeps them engaged. Think about how you'd tell a funny story to a friend. You'd raise your voice for excitement, lower it for suspense. That's what makes speech lively. To work on this, try reading a children's book out loud, exaggerating your tone for different characters. It feels silly, but it trains you to use your voice dynamically. I once worked with a colleague who sounded flat during team meetings. After practicing this exercise for a week, her presentations became engaging and people started paying attention. Your tone can change how people see you. Make it a tool, not a barrier. Pauses are another secret weapon. Silence isn't empty. It's powerful. A well-timed pause gives your audience time to absorb your words and shows you're in control. Watch any great speaker, like Martin Luther King Jr. His "I have a dream" speech used pauses to let key ideas sink in, making his words unforgettable. To practice pausing, write a short sentence like "We can do better." Say it out loud, pausing for 2 seconds after "can." Feel the weight it adds? Try this in conversations, pausing briefly after a key point. It's a simple way to sound more authoritative without changing a word. Authenticity ties it all together. People trust speakers who sound real, not like they're reading a script. This means knowing your message and believing in it. Before you speak, ask yourself, what do I really want to say? Why does it matter? For example, if you're pitching a project, focus on why it excites you, not just the facts. Your passion will shine through. A manager I know used to struggle with giving feedback because she felt like she had to sound perfect. Once she started speaking from the heart, honestly but kindly, her team respected her more. You don't need to fake confidence. Speak from a place of truth, and your authority will grow naturally. Now, let's get to work with some action steps. First, commit to a daily vocal warm-up. Spend 5 minutes each morning doing diaphragmatic breathing. Inhale deeply through your nose for 4 seconds, letting your belly expand, then exhale slowly for 6 seconds. This strengthens your voice and calms nerves. Second, keep a journal to clarify your thoughts before important talks. Write 1 sentence about your main point and why it matters. For example, "I want my team to feel motivated because this project will help us grow." This keeps you focused and authentic. Finally, record yourself speaking once a week. Pick a topic, talk for 1 minute, and listen for clarity, tone, and pauses. Each time, aim to improve one thing.
You're laying down a base that will support you throughout this entire book. Every time you put in the work, you're proving to yourself and everyone else that your voice has value. You don't need anyone's approval to speak with strength. Begin today, and you'll be surprised at how fast people start paying attention. Stick with it, and soon it'll feel natural to speak with confidence.
Your body language speaks volumes before you even say a word. Remember Mehrabian's 1971 study? It revealed that 55% of what we communicate comes from non-verbal signals, like how we stand, move, and look at people. Slouching or nervous habits can send the wrong message, even if your words are on point. Instead, stand up tall with relaxed shoulders, like you're ready for anything. Let your hands move naturally to highlight key points. For example, when saying, "This matters," a small gesture can reinforce it. Keep steady eye contact too. It earns trust. Shift your gaze from one listener to another to make everyone feel seen. To sharpen your body language, try this simple practice. Stand in front of a mirror and give a 1-minute self-introduction. Watch how you hold yourself. Are you upright? Are your hands moving too much or too little? If you're tense, shake it off and try again. I once worked with a student who couldn't stop fidgeting, which pulled focus away from his words. After a week of mirror drills, he stopped the habit, and people finally paid attention to what he said. Small shifts in your posture and movement can make a major impact on how you come across. What you say matters just as much as how you say it. Strong speakers use clear, direct language without sounding robotic. Stay away from words like like, or you know. They make your message weaker. A 2014 study in the Journal of Nonverbal Behavior found that speakers who avoid fillers seem more confident. To reduce these habits, slow down and think before talking. If a filler slips out, just pause instead. Silence is better than filler words. and use bold language. Instead of saying, "I think we might improve," say, "We will improve by doing this." That kind of talk shows belief. Here's a fun way to practice cleaner speech. Play the no-filler game. Try not to say like, or you know all day in normal conversations. If you slip, restart. It's tricky, but it helps train your brain to think before speaking. A friend of mine did this and said she started sounding more polished at work just days later. You can also write down power words, things like create, lead, or grow, and work them into your speech. Over time, they'll feel natural and help you speak with more punch. Consistency pulls all your skills together. Speaking with confidence doesn't happen overnight, it's a daily habit. Block out 10 minutes each day to focus on one skill, your tone, pacing, posture, or word choices. On Monday, do the mirror drill. Tuesday, read aloud for tone. Switch it up to keep it interesting. Make it part of your daily routine, like brushing your teeth. One salesperson I know went from timid to powerful in half a year just by practicing each day. He started by reading aloud for clarity, then added gestures. When he gave a big pitch later, the client signed immediately. You can get there too. Let's add some extra steps to strengthen your skills. First, pick a speaker you admire, someone like Michelle Obama or Simon Sinek. Watch one of their talks and write down one thing they do well. Try doing that yourself. Next, practice in chill settings. Share a story at dinner or lead a small talk with friends. These help build comfort. Finally, get some honest feedback. Ask someone you trust to watch you speak and tell you one thing you did well and one thing to work on. Feedback speeds up your growth. You're setting up the base for a strong voice, and each action moves you forward. Don't wait for perfect timing. Your voice is ready now. Picture yourself walking into a room and owning it. That's not just wishful thinking, it's your direction. Keep at it, be patient, and know that you're building something powerful. Chapter 2. Building unshakable confidence. Confidence fuels strong communication. When you trust yourself, others follow, but confidence isn't a gift, it's a muscle you grow. This chapter will help you build deep confidence so you can speak up in any situation, whether leading a team or chatting with friends. You'll get practical ways to fight doubt, strengthen your mindset, and show up strong, even if you feel shaky inside. You already have what it takes. Now let's bring it out. Let's tackle one of the biggest blocks: imposter syndrome. A 2011 study in the International Journal of Behavioral Science found that 70% of people feel like fakes sometimes, even when they're doing well. If you've ever asked, "Why should anyone listen to me?" you're in good company. The trick is to shift your focus. Instead of what you think you lack, look at what you've done right. One teacher I know used to feel nervous about running parent meetings. She made a list of her wins, students she'd helped, compliments from co-workers, and realized she had solid reasons to feel proud. You can try this too. Write down 3 things you're proud of, even small ones. Read them before any big talk. It'll help you speak from a stronger place. Visualization is another powerful tool. Picture yourself speaking with confidence, your voice steady, your audience engaged. Research from a 1996 study in The Sports Psychologist showed that athletes who visualize success performed better under pressure. The same works for speaking. Spend 2 minutes before a presentation imagining yourself nailing it. See the room, hear your voice, feel the calm. I once worked with a marketer who used visualization before client pitches. She'd close her eyes and picture the clients nodding, smiling, and signing the deal. After a month, her pitches became smoother, and she landed bigger contracts. You can do this anywhere, on a bus, in a waiting room. It's like a mental rehearsal that builds real confidence. Nervousness is normal, but you can turn it into strength. A 2013 study by Harvard's Alison Wood Brooks found that reframing anxiety as excitement improves performance. Instead of saying, "I'm so nervous," tell yourself, "I'm excited to share this." Your body feels the same rush, racing heart, sweaty palms. but your mind shifts to a positive state. Try this next time you're about to speak. Take a deep breath and say out loud, "I'm excited." A colleague of mine used this trick before a company-wide speech. She went from dreading it to delivering it with energy, and her boss praised her afterward. You're not hiding nerves. You're channeling them into power. Power posing is a physical way to boost confidence. Amy Cuddy's 2012 TED Talk highlighted how standing in a strong pose, like hands on hips, chest out, for 2 minutes increases testosterone and lowers stress hormones. Before a big moment, find a private spot and strike a power pose. Hold it, breathe deeply, and feel your body take charge. I saw this work for a shy student who dreaded class presentations. After posing in the hallway for 2 minutes, he walked in taller and spoke louder than ever. It's a quick hack that primes your body and mind to project authority. Let's talk about preparation, because confidence grows when you're ready. Know your material inside out, but don't memorize a script. It can make you sound robotic. Instead, outline your key points and practice saying them in your own words. For example, if you're giving a work update, jot down 3 main ideas and rehearse explaining them naturally. A manager I know used to wing his team briefings and stumble through them. Once he started outlining and practicing, his updates were clear and his team trusted him more. Spend 10 minutes preparing for any talk, even a casual one. It's like building a safety net for your confidence. Now let's get to action steps. First, create a confidence playlist. Write down 5 moments when you felt proud or accomplished. Maybe you solved a problem, helped someone, or hit a goal. Keep this list on your phone and read it before speaking to remind yourself of your worth. Second, practice visualization daily. Spend 2 minutes imagining a successful conversation or presentation. See the details, feel the success. Third, try power posing before your next big talk. Find a quiet spot, stand strong, and hold it for 2 minutes. Finally, reframe nerves as excitement. When you feel jittery, say, "I'm excited," and notice how your energy shifts. You're stronger than your doubts. Every time you practice these tools, you're building a confidence that no one can shake. Imagine walking into any room, knowing you can speak and be heard. That's not a fantasy, it's your future. Start today, take small steps, and watch your voice grow bolder with every word. You've got this. You're already on your way to building confidence with tools like visualization, reframing nerves, power posing, and preparation. Now, let's round out this chapter with 2 more strategies: embracing feedback and cultivating a growth mindset. These will help you stay confident even when things don't go perfectly. Plus, we'll add a few more action steps to make sure your confidence grows stronger every day. You're not just learning to speak with authority, you're becoming someone who believes in their voice no matter the challenge. Let's keep going and make your confidence rock solid. Feedback is a confidence booster when you use it right. It's easy to fear criticism, but think of it as a map to get better. A 2018 study in Frontiers in Psychology showed that people who seek constructive feedback improve their performance faster than those who avoid it. Ask someone you trust, a friend, colleague, or mentor, to listen to you speak and share what worked and what didn't. For example, maybe they'll say your ideas were clear, but you spoke too fast. That's gold. Now you know exactly what to tweak. I knew a graphic designer who was terrified of presenting her work. She asked her boss for feedback after every meeting, and within months, she was pitching confidently to clients. Start small. After your next conversation or presentation, ask, "What's one thing I did well and one thing I could improve?" Write down the answers and work on them. A growth mindset is the final piece of the puzzle. This idea, popularized by Carol Dweck's 2006 book Mindset, says that your abilities aren't fixed. You can always improve with effort. If you stumble during a talk, don't think, "I'm bad at this." Instead say, "I'm learning and I'll get better." This shift builds resilience, which fuels confidence. For example, a nurse I met used to freeze during team briefings. She adopted a growth mindset, telling herself, "Every talk is practice." She started volunteering to speak more, and soon her colleagues saw her as a leader. To build this mindset, catch negative self-talk and flip it. If you think, "I'll never be good at speaking," rephrase it. "I'm working on my speaking, and I'm improving every day." Write this new thought down and read it daily. Let's wrap up with a few more action steps to lock in your confidence. First, find a feedback buddy. Pick someone you trust and ask them to give you one piece of speaking feedback each week. Use their input to improve one skill at a time. Second, start a growth mindset journal. Each day, write one sentence about how you're improving as a speaker, like, "Today, I spoke slower and felt more in control." This builds a habit of seeing progress. Finally, celebrate small wins. After every talk, no matter how small, note one thing you did well, like making eye contact or staying calm. These wins add up, proving you're capable of more than you think. You're building a confidence that can't be shaken. Every step you take, every visualization, every reframe nerve, every piece of feedback is proof that you're growing. You don't need to be perfect to speak with power. You just need to believe in your ability to improve. Picture yourself a month from now, standing taller, speaking clearer, commanding every room. That's not a dream. It's where these steps are taking you. Keep going and let your confidence shine. Chapter 3, Mastering Your Voice. Your voice is your instrument. When you master it, you can make people listen, feel, and act. This chapter is about turning your voice into a tool for authority, strong, clear, and dynamic. We'll cover pitch, pacing, and avoiding habits that weaken your speech, like uptalk or mumbling. You'll get practical exercises to sound commanding, whether you're in a meeting, on a call, or giving a speech. Your voice is unique, and it's ready to carry your message with power. Let's shape it into something unforgettable. First, let's talk about pitch. A low, steady pitch sounds confident and authoritative. High-pitched or wavering voices can seem nervous, even if you're not. A 2014 study in Personality and Social Psychology Bulletin found that lower-pitched voices are perceived as more dominant and trustworthy. But you don't need to force a deep voice that can sound unnatural. Instead, focus on speaking from your diaphragm, the muscle below your ribs. This gives your voice depth and resonance. To practice, try this. Place your hand on your belly and inhale deeply, feeling it expand. As you exhale, say, "Hello, how are you?" in a slow, low tone. Do this for 5 minutes daily to train your voice to stay grounded. A lawyer I know used this exercise to sound more persuasive in court. After 2 weeks, her arguments carried more weight, and she felt in control. Pacing is just as important. Speaking too fast makes you hard to follow, while too slow can bore your audience. Aim for a conversational pace, about 120–150 words per minute, according to speech coach Lisa Braithwaite. To find your pace, read a paragraph out loud and time yourself. If you're rushing, slow down by adding pauses. If you're dragging, pick up the energy. Try this exercise. Read a short story or article aloud, aiming for 140 words per minute. Record yourself and adjust until it feels natural. A barista I coached used to rush through customer orders, sounding frantic. After practicing pacing, her voice became calm and professional, and customers responded better. Your pace sets the rhythm of your authority. Make it steady and engaging. Avoiding uptalk is another key step. Uptalk is when your voice rises at the end of a sentence like you're asking a question. It can make you sound unsure. A 2016 study in speech communication noted that uptalk reduces perceived confidence, especially in professional settings. To break this habit, practice declarative sentences. Say, "I'm confident in my plan," with your voice dropping at the end. Record yourself and listen for rising tones. If you hear them, repeat the sentence until your voice stays firm. A sales rep I worked with struggled with uptalk during pitches. After a week of this exercise, her clients took her proposals more seriously. You want your words to land with certainty, not doubt. Let's add some action steps to start mastering your voice. First, do the diaphragm exercise daily. Spend 5 minutes breathing deeply and speaking in a low, steady tone to build resonance. Second, practice pacing with a timer. Read a 140-word passage in 1 minute, recording yourself to check your speed. Adjust until it feels natural. Third, tackle uptalk by practicing 5 declarative sentences each day like, "I have a strong idea." Record and ensure your voice drops at the end. Finally, try a vocal warm-up before speaking. Hum gently for 30 seconds, then say, my voice is strong, to loosen your vocal cords. Your voice is ready to command attention. Every exercise you do is shaping it into a tool that reflects your strength. Imagine speaking and knowing everyone is hanging on your words. That's the power you're building. Start now. Practice daily and let your voice become the authority you already are. You're already working on your voice with tools like diaphragmatic breathing, pacing, and avoiding uptalk. Now let's dive deeper into eliminating mumbling, using strategic pauses, and maintaining vocal health to keep your voice strong and authoritative. These skills will help you sound clear and confident in any situation, from casual chats to high-stakes presentations. Your voice is your unique signature. Let's polish it until it shines. With a few more practical steps, you'll be speaking with power that turns heads and holds attention. Mumbling is a common habit that undermines authority. When your words aren't clear, listeners tune out, no matter how great your message is. Mumbling often comes from shallow breathing or tense jaw muscles. To fix this, focus on articulation, making each word crisp. Try this exercise. Say the tongue twister. "She sells seashells by the seashore," 5 times slowly, exaggerating each syllable. Record yourself and listen for clarity. If any words blur together, repeat until they're sharp. A retail worker I coached used to mumble during customer interactions, making her seem unsure. After practicing tongue twisters for a week, her words became clear, and customers started trusting her recommendations more. Spend 5 minutes a day on this, and your voice will stand out. Strategic pauses are your secret weapon for authority. We touched on pauses in Chapter 1, but let's go further. Pauses don't just give listeners time to process. They also build suspense and emphasize key points. A 2011 study in Journal of Psycholinguistic Research found that well-timed pauses make speakers seem more confident and persuasive. For example, if you're saying, "We need to act now to succeed," pause for a second after "now." It makes your call to action hit harder. To practice, pick a short speech or quote like John F. Kennedy's "Ask not what your country can do for you." Read it aloud, pausing for 2 seconds after key phrases. Record and adjust until the pauses feel natural. A teacher I know used this to make her classroom talks more engaging. Students hung on her every word. Pauses show you're in control, so use them wisely. Vocal health is the foundation of a strong voice. If your voice is hoarse or tired, you can't sound authoritative. Simple habits keep your vocal cords in top shape. First, stay hydrated. Drink at least 8 glasses of water daily to keep your vocal cords lubricated. A 2005 study in Journal of Voice showed that dehydration reduces vocal clarity and stamina. Second, avoid straining your voice by shouting or whispering, which can cause damage. If you feel strain, rest your voice for a few hours. Finally, warm up before speaking. Try this. Gently hum for 1 minute, then say "la la la" in different pitches for another minute. This loosens your vocal cords. A singer I met used warm-ups to keep her voice clear during long performances. After adopting this habit, her speaking voice became stronger too. Treat your voice like an athlete treats their body. Care for it and it will perform. Let's add more action steps to master your voice. First, practice articulation daily with a new tongue twister like Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. Spend 5 minutes saying it slowly and clearly, recording to check progress. Second, incorporate pauses into daily conversations. When you make a point like, "I think we should try this," pause briefly afterward. Notice how people respond. Third, prioritize vocal health. Carry a water bottle and sip throughout the day, and do the hum and la warm-up before any big talk. Finally, join a group like Toastmasters or use an app like Audiobooks to get feedback on your voice. These tools help you refine pitch, pacing, and clarity in real time. You're shaping a voice that commands respect. Every exercise, every pause, every sip of water is building a tool that reflects your strength. Picture yourself speaking with such clarity and power that everyone stops to listen. That's not a fantasy. It's what you're creating. Keep practicing, stay consistent, and let your voice become a force no one can ignore. You're not just speaking, you're leading. Chapter 4. Crafting compelling messages. Your voice is getting stronger, but what you say matters just as much. A compelling message grabs attention, sticks in minds, and inspires action. This chapter is about crafting words that resonate, clear, persuasive, and memorable. We'll cover how to structure your message, use emotion and logic, and simplify without losing impact. You'll learn to turn ideas into words that move people, whether you're pitching a project or sharing a vision. Your message is your power. Let's make it unforgettable. Start with structure. A clear framework keeps your audience engaged. One effective method is the problem-solution benefit framework. First, state the problem to grab attention. Then, offer a solution to show you have answers. Finally, explain the benefit to make it personal. For example, in a work meeting, you might say, "Our team is missing deadlines, problem. Let's assign clear roles and track progress weekly, solution. This will help us finish projects faster and reduce stress, benefit." This structure is simple but powerful. A 2017 study in Journal of Business Communication found that structured messages are 40% more persuasive than unstructured ones. To practice, pick a topic, like convincing a friend to try a new hobby. Write a 1-minute pitch using problem-solution benefit, say it aloud, and tweak until it flows. A startup founder I know used this to pitch investors. Her clear structure won funding because they understood her vision instantly. Emotion and logic are the heart of a compelling message. Aristotle's ethos, pathos, and logos still hold true. Ethos builds your credibility, pathos stirs emotions, and logos provides facts. Balance them for impact. For example, if you're asking for a raise, you might say, "I've led 3 successful projects this year," ethos. "I'm passionate about growing with this team," pathos. "My work has increased sales by 15%, logos. Too much logic feels dry, too much emotion feels unsteady. Blend them. Try this exercise. Write a short talk on a goal, like improving your workplace. Include 1 fact, logos, 1 personal story, pathos, and 1 reason you're qualified to speak, ethos. Practice saying it aloud. A community organizer I coached used this to rally volunteers. Her mix of stats, stories, and experience got everyone on board. Simplicity is your ally. Complex words or long-winded explanations lose people. Aim to say more with less. Steve Jobs was a master at this. His 2007 iPhone launch used short sentences and vivid images like a revolutionary phone. A 2018 study in Journal of Language and Social Psychology found that simple language increases audience trust. To simplify, write your message, then cut 20% of the words without losing meaning. For example, change. "We are currently experiencing a lack of sufficient resources to we need more resources." Practice this. Pick an email or talk you've written. Rewrite it to be shorter and clearer. A writer I know did this with her pitches, and editors started responding faster. Simple words hit harder. Let's add action steps to craft compelling messages. First, practice the problem-solution benefit framework. Write a 1-minute pitch for a personal goal, like starting a side hustle, and say it aloud daily for a week. Second, blend ethos, pathos, and logos. Write a short talk on a topic you care about, including 1 fact, 1 story, and 1 credential. Practice delivering it. Third, simplify your words. Take a recent email or speech, cut 20% of the words, and read it aloud to ensure it's clear. Finally, study a great speaker. Watch a TED Talk or speech by someone like Brené Brown. Note how they structure their message and try one technique like vivid words in your next talk. Your message is a spark that can light up a room. Every word you craft is a chance to inspire, persuade, and lead. Imagine delivering a talk that leaves everyone nodding, ready to act. That's the power you're building. Start now, keep it simple, and let your words change the game. You're not just speaking, you're shaping the future. You're learning to craft messages that grab attention with structure, emotion, logic, and simplicity. Now, let's build on that by focusing on storytelling, tailoring your message to your audience, and practicing delivery to make your words stick. These skills will help you turn any talk, whether it's a work pitch or a heartfelt speech, into something people remember and act on. Your message isn't just words, it's a bridge to connect with others. Let's make it strong, clear, and impossible to ignore. Storytelling is a powerful way to make your message compelling. Stories stick because they engage emotions and create pictures in people's minds. A 2014 study in Journal of Cognitive Neuroscience found that narratives activate brain areas tied to empathy, making listeners feel connected. For example, instead of saying, "Our team needs to work harder," share a story. Last month, Sarah stayed late to fix a client issue and her effort saved the deal. This paints a picture and inspires action. To craft a story, use the before-after bridge method. Describe the situation before, the change or action, and the result. For instance, our sales were flat before. We redesigned our approach, bridge. Now, we're up 20% after. Practice this. Pick a personal experience, like overcoming a challenge. Write a 1-minute story using before-after bridge, then say it aloud. A non-profit leader I know used this to rally donors, sharing how one donation changed a child's life. Her story raised thousands because it felt personal. Stories make your message human. Use them. Tailoring your message to your audience is crucial. A great message fits the people hearing it. If you're speaking to colleagues, focus on shared goals. If it's clients, highlight benefits for them. A 2019 study in Journal of Marketing Research showed that audience-specific messages increase persuasion by 25%. Before you speak, ask, who's listening? What do they care about? For example, if you're pitching a project to your boss, emphasize how it saves time or boosts revenue. If you're talking to friends, focus on shared values. Try this exercise. Write a short talk on a topic like proposing a team outing. Create 2 versions, one for your boss, one for your team. Notice how the focus shifts. A salesperson I coached did this for client pitches, tailoring each one to the client's needs. Her close rate doubled because clients felt understood. Know your audience, and your words will hit home. Delivery ties it all together. A great message falls flat if you don't deliver it with confidence. Practice your talk out loud, focusing on tone and pacing. Record yourself and listen for energy. Do you sound excited about your message? Adjust until you do. Also, use gestures to reinforce your words, like pointing to emphasize a key point. A 2016 study in Communication Studies found that dynamic delivery increases audience engagement by 30%. For example, during a presentation, I saw a manager practice her talk in front of a mirror, adding a hand gesture for each main point. Her final delivery was so lively that her team rallied behind her idea. To practice, pick a short message you've written, like a work update. Rehearse it 3 times, each time tweaking one thing: tone, pacing, or gestures. Record and refine until it feels natural. Practice makes your delivery as compelling as your words. Let's add more action steps to craft compelling messages. First, practice storytelling daily. Write a 1-minute before-after bridge story about a recent success, like finishing a project. Say it aloud and refine it. Second, tailor a message. Pick a talk you'll give soon, like a meeting update. Write it for your specific audience, focusing on their needs, and practice it. Third, rehearse delivery. Take a message you've written and practice it 3 times, recording each one. Tweak tone, pacing, or gestures based on what you hear. Finally, get feedback. Share a short talk with a friend or colleague and ask, "Did my message feel clear and engaging?" Use their input to improve. Your words have the power to change minds and spark action. Every story you tell, every tailored pitch, every practiced delivery is building a message that resonates. Imagine standing in front of any audience, knowing your words will move them. That's where you're headed. Keep crafting, keep practicing, and let your message light up the room. You're not just speaking, you're inspiring. Chapter 5. Reading the room. Speaking with authority means connecting with your audience, and that starts with reading the room. This chapter is about understanding your listeners' mood, needs, and reactions in real time, so you can adapt and keep them engaged. We'll cover spotting nonverbal cues, mirroring energy, and asking questions to stay in sync. Whether you're in a meeting, a virtual call, or a social setting, reading the room helps you speak with impact. You're not just talking, you're building a conversation. Let's learn how to make it flow. Nonverbal cues are your first clue to the room's vibe. Albert Mehrabian's 1971 study showed that 93% of communication is nonverbal. Body language and tone outweigh words. Crossed arms, fidgeting, or averted eyes might signal boredom or resistance. Leaning forward, nodding, or smiling shows engagement. To spot these, scan your audience every few seconds while speaking. For example, if you see people checking phones, they're disengaged. Try a question or a story to pull them back. Practice this. In your next conversation, notice one nonverbal cue, like posture or eye contact. Adjust your approach. If they seem distracted, slow down or ask their opinion. A teacher I knew used this to win over a restless class. When she saw students slouching, she switched to a lively story, and they perked up. Cues are your guide. Use them to stay connected. Mirroring energy helps you match the room's mood. If your audience is high energy, like a team celebrating a win, match their enthusiasm with a lively tone. If they're serious, like during a crisis meeting, keep your tone calm and focused. A 2015 study in social, psychological, and personality science found that mirroring builds rapport, making listeners 20% more likely to agree with you. To practice, observe a group's energy before you speak. Are they joking or quiet? Adjust your voice and gestures to align. For example, I saw a manager mirror a team's excitement during a project kickoff, using upbeat words and big gestures. The team stayed engaged because he felt like one of them. Try this in a low-stakes setting, like a friend group. Match their vibe and notice how they respond. Mirroring makes your audience feel seen. Asking questions keeps the room involved. Questions show you care about your audience's thoughts and give you clues about their mindset. Open-ended questions like, "What do you think we should prioritize?" invite participation and reveal concerns. A 2018 study in Journal of Applied Psychology showed that interactive communication boosts audience trust by 15%. For example, during a town hall, a leader I know asked, "What's one challenge we're facing?" The answers helped her tailor her talk to their needs, and people felt heard. Practice this. In your next group setting, ask one open-ended question, like, "What's your take on this?" Listen to the responses and adjust your message. Questions turn a monologue into a dialogue, making your speech more powerful. Let's add action steps to read the room. First, practice spotting cues. In your next meeting, note one nonverbal signal, like nodding or fidgeting, and adjust your tone or content based on it. Second, try mirroring. Before your next talk, observe the group's energy and match it with your voice and gestures. Third, ask a question. In a conversation or presentation, include one open-ended question and use the response to guide your words. Finally, observe a skilled communicator. Watch a leader or interviewer like Oprah Winfrey and note how they read their audience. Try one of their techniques, like pausing to gauge reactions in your next talk. You're learning to connect with any audience, turning strangers into allies. Every cue you spot, every question you ask, is building a bridge to your listeners. Imagine speaking and feeling the room shift, hanging on your words. That's the power you're unlocking. Start now, stay observant, and let your words land perfectly. You're not just speaking, you're leading a moment. You're learning to read the room by spotting non-verbal cues, mirroring energy, and asking questions to connect with your audience. Now let's dive into adapting on the fly, building rapport, and handling mixed signals to keep your speech powerful and relevant. These skills will help you stay in control even when the room's mood shifts or you face a tough crowd. Reading the room isn't just about observing, it's about responding in a way that keeps everyone engaged. You're not just speaking, you're creating a moment that resonates. Let's make it happen. Adapting on the fly is key when the room's vibe changes. Maybe you're presenting and you notice people looking confused or restless. Instead of plowing through, adjust. If you see confusion, pause and clarify. Let me break this down a bit more. If the energy dips, throw in a quick story or question to re-engage. A 2017 study in Journal of Applied Communication Research found that speakers who adapt to audience feedback are 35% more effective at maintaining attention. For example, a project manager I coached was losing her team during a long meeting. She noticed glazed eyes, so she switched to a hands-on activity, asking everyone to share one idea. The room came alive and her message landed. To practice, try this. In your next group setting, watch for one sign of disengagement like yawning or phone checking. Respond by changing your approach, ask a question, share a story, or slow your pace. Record the interaction if possible, and review how your shift affected the mood. Adapting shows you're in tune, which boosts your authority. Building rapport makes your audience trust you. Rapport comes from small, genuine actions, smiling, using people's names, or referencing shared experiences. For instance, if you're speaking to colleagues, mention a recent team win. Like we saw in last week's project, we're stronger together. A 2019 study in Journal of Social Psychology showed that rapport building increases audience agreement by 20%. To build this skill, try the connection starter exercise. Before your next talk, pick one thing you have in common with your audience, like a shared goal or recent event. Weave it into your opening like, "We've all felt the crunch of tight deadlines." A salesperson I knew used this to warm up clients, starting pitches with, "I know you're juggling a lot just like us." Clients opened up because they felt connected. Practice this in casual settings, like a coffee chat, by mentioning one shared interest. Rapport turns listeners into allies, making your words hit deeper. Handling mixed signals is trickier, but just as important. Sometimes the room sends conflicting cues. Some people nod, while others look skeptical. Don't panic. Focus on the majority's mood, but address outliers gently. For example, if one person seems doubtful, make eye contact and say, "I'd love to hear your thoughts on this." This shows you're open without derailing your message. A 2016 study in communication research found that acknowledging diverse reactions increases speaker credibility by 15%. I saw a team leader do this during a tense meeting. When two colleagues crossed their arms, she asked, "What concerns do you have?" Their feedback helped her clarify, and the room relaxed. To practice, role play with a friend. Have them show mixed reactions, some positive, some skeptical, while you speak for 2 minutes. Adjust your tone or content to address both. This builds your ability to stay calm and flexible under pressure. Let's add more action steps to master reading the room. First, practice adapting. In your next presentation, watch for one sign of disengagement and shift your approach. Try a story, question, or slower pace. Note the result. Second, build rapport. Before your next talk, find one shared experience or goal and mention it in your opening. See how the audience responds. Third, handle mixed signals. In a group discussion, notice if someone seems skeptical and address them with a gentle question like, "What's your take?" Finally, study a master communicator. Watch a talk show host like Ellen DeGeneres and note how they adapt to guests' moods. Try one technique, like using names in your next conversation. These steps will make you a speaker who feels the room and owns it. You're becoming a master at connecting with any crowd. Every cue you read, every adjustment you make, is turning your speech into a conversation that matters. Imagine walking into any setting and knowing you can win over the room. That's the skill you're building. Keep observing, keep adapting, and let your presence command attention. You're not just speaking, you're creating moments that stick. Chapter 6. Handling tough conversations. Tough conversations, whether it's giving feedback, resolving conflict, or saying no, test your authority like nothing else. This chapter is about speaking with power and grace under pressure. We'll cover staying calm, using empathy, and proposing solutions to keep these talks productive. You'll learn to navigate high-stakes moments with confidence, turning tension into opportunity. Your voice can steer even the hardest talks toward positive outcomes. Let's dive in and make you unstoppable. Staying calm is your first step. When emotions run high, your body can betray you. Racing heart, shaky voice. Mindfulness techniques help you stay grounded. Try the 4-7-8 breathing method. Inhale for 4 seconds, hold for 7, exhale for 8. A 2018 study in Frontiers in Immunology showed that this reduces stress hormones, helping you think clearly. Before a tough talk, take 1 minute to do 4-7-8 breathing. For example, a nurse I coached had to confront a rude colleague. She used this breathing trick beforehand, stayed calm, and addressed the issue firmly but kindly. The colleague apologized, and their teamwork improved. Practice this daily, even outside tough moments, to make calmness a habit. A steady voice in a heated moment shows you're in control. Empathy keeps tough conversations from turning into battles. Acknowledge the other person's feelings before stating your point. For example, if you're giving critical feedback, start with, "I know you've been working hard and I appreciate that." Then, share your concern. "I've noticed some errors in the reports, so let's fix this together." A 2017 study in Journal of Organizational Behavior found that empathetic communication increases cooperation by 25%. I saw a manager use this to address a team member's lateness. By starting with, "I know mornings are tough with your commute," she opened a dialogue, and the employee committed to arriving on time. Practice this. In your next disagreement, start by naming the other person's perspective, like, "I see you're frustrated." Then share your view. Empathy builds trust, making your authority feel human. Proposing solutions turns tough talks into progress. Instead of dwelling on the problem, offer a clear path forward. For example, if you're resolving a team conflict, say, "Let's set a weekly check-in to avoid these mix-ups." A 2019 study in negotiation and conflict management research showed that solution-focused communication reduces tension by 30%. A team leader I knew faced 2 colleagues arguing over workload. She listened, then suggested, "Let's split tasks based on strengths and review in a week." They agreed, and the tension faded. To practice, pick a recent conflict, like a work disagreement. Write down one solution, like a new process or compromise, and role-play presenting it. Solutions show you're not just pointing out problems, you're leading the way. Let's add action steps to handle tough conversations. First, practice 4-7-8 breathing daily. Spend 1 minute each morning doing it to build calmness. Second, use empathy in a low-stakes talk. Start by acknowledging the other person's feelings, then share your point and note the response. Third, propose a solution. In your next disagreement, suggest one practical fix, like a new plan or meeting. Practice saying it aloud. Finally, role-play a tough talk. Ask a friend to play a challenging colleague or client. Practice staying calm, showing empathy, and offering a solution for 5 minutes. These steps will make you a master of high-pressure moments. You're learning to turn tough talks into triumphs. Every calm breath, every empathetic word, every solution you offer is proof of your strength. Imagine facing any challenge and knowing you can guide it to a positive end. That's the power you're building. Start now, stay steady, and let your voice lead even in the hardest moments. You're not just speaking, you're solving. You're learning to navigate tough conversations with calmness, empathy, and solution-focused strategies. Now, let's explore using I statements, managing emotional triggers, and following up to ensure lasting results. These tools will help you stay authoritative while keeping the conversation constructive, even when tensions rise. Tough talks aren't just challenges, they're chances to show leadership and build stronger relationships. Your voice can turn conflict into collaboration. Let's keep building your skills to handle any high-stakes moment with confidence. Using I statements keeps tough conversations from feeling like attacks. Instead of saying, "You're always late," which can make someone defensive, try, "I feel frustrated when meetings start late because it delays our progress." This focuses on your feelings and the issue, not the person. A 2016 study in Journal of Language and Social Psychology found that I'm statements reduce conflict escalation by 20% compared to accusatory language. For example, a supervisor I coached had to address an employee's missed deadlines. Instead of blaming, she said, "I'm concerned about the project delays because they affect the team's goals." The employee opened up and they worked out a plan. To practice, pick a recent frustration, like a co-worker's oversight. Write an I statement, like, "I feel stressed when tasks aren't shared because it slows us down." Say it aloud until it feels natural. In your next tough talk, start with an I statement to set a collaborative tone. Managing emotional triggers is crucial when conversations get heated. Triggers, moments that spark anger or fear, can derail your authority. The key is recognizing your triggers before they take over. For instance, if interruptions make you defensive, notice the feeling and pause. A 2019 study in emotion showed that a brief pause during emotional moments lowers reactive responses by 15%. Try the name and tame technique. When you feel triggered, silently name the emotion, like, "I'm feeling angry." Then, take a deep breath and refocus on your goal. A colleague I knew got flustered when her ideas were dismissed in meetings. She started naming her frustration, pausing, and then calmly restating her point. Her colleagues began listening more. Practice this. In a low-stakes argument, like a family debate, notice one trigger. Name it silently, breathe, and respond calmly. This builds your ability to stay steady in tougher moments. Following up after a tough conversation ensures your words lead to change. A quick check-in shows you're committed to progress, not just airing grievances. For example, after discussing a team issue, email or say, "I appreciate our talk. Let's check in next week to see how the new plan's going." A 2018 study in Academy of Management Journal found that follow-ups increase resolution rates by 25%. A manager I coached resolved a conflict between two team members by setting a follow-up meeting. When they reconvened, both had stuck to their agreement and trust grew. To practice, after your next tough talk, schedule a follow-up. Write a short note like, "Glad we talked. Can we touch base in a week?" This small step turns your conversation into lasting impact. Let's add more action steps to master tough conversations. First, practice I statements. Write 3 I statements for situations you face, like, "I feel overwhelmed when tasks pile up because it affects my focus." Say them aloud daily. Second, work on triggers. In your next heated moment, name the emotion silently, breathe, and respond calmly. Note how it changes the outcome. Third, commit to follow-ups. After a tough talk, send a brief note or set a time to check in within a week. Finally, observe a skilled negotiator. Watch a mediator or leader, like a podcast host resolving guest disputes, and note one technique, like summarizing points. Try it in your next tough talk. These steps will make you a pro at turning tension into progress. You're becoming a leader who thrives in tough moments. Every I statement, every calm response, every follow-up is proof you can handle anything. Imagine facing any conflict and knowing you'll come out stronger. That's the strength you're building. Keep practicing, stay focused, and let your voice guide even the hardest talks to success. You're not just speaking, you're transforming relationships. Chapter 7. Storytelling that inspires. Stories have a unique power to inspire, connect, and persuade. When you tell a story well, your audience doesn't just hear you, they feel you. This chapter is about crafting stories that captivate and motivate, whether you're rallying a team, pitching an idea, or sharing a personal moment. We'll cover the hero's journey, vivid details, and practicing delivery to make your stories unforgettable. Your stories can light up a room and move people to action. Let's learn how to tell them with authority. The hero's journey is a timeless storytelling framework. Popularized by Joseph Campbell, it follows a hero who faces a challenge, overcomes it, and grows. You can use this for any story, personal or professional. For example, if you're inspiring your team, you might say, "Last year we hit a sales slump challenge. We brainstormed new strategies and worked late, struggle. By Q3 we doubled our numbers and learned we're unstoppable. Growth." A 2016 study in Journal of Applied Social Psychology found that stories with a clear arc increase audience engagement by 30%. To practice, pick a personal success, like finishing a tough project. Write a 2-minute story. Describe the challenge, your actions, and the outcome. Say it aloud and refine it. A small business owner I coached used this to pitch her brand, sharing how she overcame early failures. Investors loved her story and funded her expansion. The hero's journey makes your story relatable and inspiring. Vivid details bring your stories to life. Instead of saying, "I was nervous," say, "My palms were sweaty and my heart pounded like a drum." Specific images make listeners see and feel your story. A 2018 study in memory and cognition showed that vivid language boosts recall by 20%. For example, Malala Yousafzai's UN speech used details like the silence of the classroom to paint a picture of her struggle. To practice, take a simple story like a memorable trip. Add 3 sensory details: what you saw, heard, or felt. Say the story aloud and notice how it feels richer. A teacher I knew added details to her classroom stories like the squeak of chalk on the board. Her students stayed glued to every word. Details turn your story into an experience. Delivery makes your story land. A great story needs energy, pacing, and emotion. Practice telling your story with varied tone. Raise your voice for excitement, soften it for reflection. Use pauses to let key moments sink in. A 2017 study in Communication Quarterly found that expressive delivery increases audience connection by 25%. For example, a non-profit leader I coached practiced her fundraising story, pausing after describing a child's struggle. The pause made donors feel the weight, and pledges poured in. To practice, pick a story you've written. Rehearse it 3 times, recording each one. Tweak your tone, pacing, or pauses based on what you hear. Try it in front of a friend and ask for feedback. Delivery turns your words into a performance that inspires. Let's add action steps to tell inspiring stories. First, craft a hero's journey story. Write a 2-minute tale about a challenge you faced, your actions, and the growth. Practice it daily. Second, add vivid details. Take a story and include 3 sensory details, then say it aloud to feel the difference. Third, practice delivery. Rehearse a story 3 times, recording and tweaking tone, pacing, or pauses. Finally, share a story. Tell it to a friend or small group and ask, "Did it grab you?" Use their feedback to improve. These steps will make your stories a tool for connection and change. Your stories are a gift that can move hearts and spark action. Every tale you tell is a chance to inspire and lead. Imagine sharing a story that leaves your audience ready to act. That's the power you're unlocking. Start crafting, start practicing, and let your stories change the world. You're not just speaking, you're creating moments that last. You're already crafting stories with the hero's journey, vivid details, and strong delivery. Now let's focus on keeping stories concise, connecting them to your message, and practicing in real-world settings to make them truly inspiring. These skills will help you tell stories that not only captivate, but also drive your point home, whether you're motivating a team or pitching a vision. Your stories are a spark that can ignite change. Let's make them sharp, purposeful, and ready to move any audience. Keeping stories concise is key. A long, rambling tale loses impact no matter how good it is. Aim for a story that takes 1 to 2 minutes to tell, short enough to hold attention, long enough to feel meaningful. For example, instead of detailing every step of a work challenge, focus on the core. We faced a tight deadline with a small team. I rallied everyone for late nights, and we delivered a project that won the client's trust. Cut extra details like what you ate or who said what, unless they add emotion. To practice, take a story you've written, like overcoming a setback. Time yourself telling it. If it's over 2 minutes, trim it by removing one detail at a time, then retell it. A volunteer coordinator I coached had a 5-minute story about a fundraiser. She cut it to 90 seconds, focusing on one donor's impact, and her audience was hooked. Short stories hit harder, so keep them tight. Connecting your story to your message makes it purposeful. Every story should tie directly to the point you're making. If you're pitching a new idea, your story should show why it matters. For instance, if you're proposing a team change, say, "Last year, we were stuck on a project until we reorganized tasks. That shift got us back on track, which is why I'm suggesting this now." The story reinforces your idea, making it feel real. To practice, pick a goal, like convincing a friend to join a club. Write a 1-minute story that supports your point, like how the club helped you grow. Tell it aloud and check if the connection is clear. A manager I knew used a story about a past success to push for a risky strategy. Because the story tied to his point, the team bought in. Your story isn't just entertainment, it's proof your message works. Practicing in real-world settings builds your storytelling confidence. Start small. Share a short story at a team meeting or with friends. For example, tell your colleagues about a time you solved a problem to illustrate teamwork. Notice their reactions. Did they lean in or nod? Use their feedback to tweak your delivery or details. A barista I coached started sharing quick stories about customer wins during staff huddles. Her team loved them, and she got better at pacing and emphasis. Try this. Tell a story to a small group, like family, about a recent experience. Ask, "Did that make sense?" and adjust based on their input. Real-world practice makes your stories feel natural and powerful, so you're ready for bigger stages. Let's add more action steps to tell inspiring stories. First, keep a story concise. Take a 2-minute story and trim it to 90 seconds, cutting one detail at a time. Practice it daily. Second, connect a story to a message. Write a 1-minute story that supports a goal, like pitching a project, and rehearse it. Third, practice in real life. Tell a story to a small group, like co-workers, and ask for feedback on clarity and impact. Finally, collect stories. Each week, write down one experience that could be a story, like a challenge or win. This builds a story bank you can draw from. These steps will make your stories a tool for inspiration. Your stories can change how people see the world. Every concise tale, every connected message, every real-world test is building your power to inspire. Picture telling a story that shifts a room, sparking action and belief. That's where you're going. Keep crafting, keep sharing, and let your stories light the way. You're not just speaking, you're moving hearts. Chapter 8. Commanding virtual spaces. Virtual spaces, Zoom calls, webinars, online meetings are now a big part of how we communicate. Speaking with authority online requires unique skills to stand out through a screen. This chapter is about mastering your virtual presence with setup, engagement, and handling tech hiccups. You'll learn to project confidence and connect with audiences, even from miles away. Your voice can command a virtual room just as powerfully as a physical one. Let's make you a pro at shining online. Your setup is the foundation of a strong virtual presence. A cluttered background or dim lighting distracts from your message. Choose a clean, simple backdrop, like a plain wall or bookshelf, and ensure your face is well lit. Use a lamp or ring light if possible. Position your camera at eye level, so you're looking directly at your audience, not down or up. Test your audio with a good microphone. Even earbuds with a mic are better than a laptop's built-in one. A friend of mine, a consultant, struggled with virtual pitches until she upgraded her setup. With better lighting and a clear mic, clients paid more attention. To practice, set up your virtual space and join a test call with a friend. Ask, "Can you hear and see me clearly?" Tweak until it's professional. A strong setup shows you mean business. Engaging your virtual audience keeps them focused. Online, people's attention drifts faster. Think notifications or multitasking. Start with a hook, like a question. What's one thing you want from this meeting? Use visuals, like slides or screen sharing, to reinforce points, but keep them simple. Too many graphics overwhelm. Check in often with questions or polls like, "Raise your hand if you face this issue." A 2020 survey by Gallup found that interactive virtual meetings boost engagement by 30%. A remote worker I coached added questions to her Zoom updates asking, "What's your input?" Her team went from silent to active. Practice this. In your next virtual meeting, start with a question and use one visual, like a chart. Note if people respond more. Engagement turns a flat call into a lively conversation. Handling tech hiccups with grace shows authority. Glitches, frozen screens, dropped audio happen. Stay calm and have a backup plan. If your video freezes, switch to audio only and say, "Looks like a tech blip, but let's keep going." Keep a phone hotspot ready for Wi-Fi issues. A presenter I knew faced a Zoom crash mid-webinar. She calmly switched to a backup link, joked, "Tech keeps us on our toes," and continued. Her audience admired her poise. Practice this. In your next virtual call, prepare a backup, like a phone for audio, and role-play a glitch. Say, "I'll switch to my phone 1 sec," and do it smoothly. Being ready for hiccups keeps you in control. Let's add action steps to command virtual spaces. First, perfect your setup. Test your lighting, background, and audio, then join a practice call to confirm it's clear. Second, boost engagement. In your next virtual talk, start with a question and use one simple visual. Note the response. Third, prepare for glitches. Set up a backup plan, like a phone hotspot, and practice switching during a test call. Finally, watch a virtual pro. Study a webinar host like Amy Porterfield and note one technique, like using polls. Try it in your next call. These steps will make you a virtual powerhouse. Your virtual presence can captivate any screen. Every setup tweak, every engaging question, every calm glitch fix is building your authority. Imagine leading a Zoom call that feels as powerful as an in-person speech. That's the skill you're mastering. Start now, stay sharp, and let your voice own the virtual stage. You're not just speaking, you're leading from anywhere. You're starting to master virtual spaces with a strong setup, engaging techniques, and ways to handle tech glitches. Now let's dive into building connection, managing virtual energy, and practicing consistently to make your online presence unforgettable. These skills will help you lead Zoom calls, webinars, or virtual pitches with the same authority you'd have in person. Your screen is your stage, and you're about to own it. Let's keep building your virtual power so you can inspire and influence no matter the platform. Building connection in virtual spaces is trickier than face-to-face, but it's doable with intention. People feel distant online, so you need to bridge that gap. Start by addressing your audience directly. Use their names or say, "I'm glad you're all here." Smile and make eye contact by looking at the camera, not the screen. This mimics real connection. For example, a trainer I coached started her Zoom workshops by saying, "Hey Maria John, love seeing you." Her participants felt seen and stayed engaged. To practice, begin your next virtual meeting by greeting one or two people by name and looking at the camera for a few seconds. Notice if they respond with more focus. Another trick is to share a quick personal touch, like, "I was just thinking about our last project." A marketing assistant I knew did this in virtual team calls, mentioning small wins, and her colleagues opened up more. Try this. In your next call, share one brief, relevant anecdote to warm up the room. Connection makes your virtual audience feel like they're right there with you. Managing virtual energy keeps your audience hooked. Online, energy can flatline. People mute, turn off cameras, or multitask. You need to bring the spark. Use a lively tone, vary your pitch, and move slightly, like leaning forward to emphasize a point. For instance, if you're presenting, say, "This next idea is a game changer," with a big smile and a hand gesture. A remote team leader I coached noticed her meetings dragging. She started using animated gestures and asking, "Who's excited about this?" Her team turned cameras on and joined in. To practice, record yourself giving a 1-minute virtual pitch. Watch for energy. Do you sound excited? If not, try again with more vocal variety and movement. Another tip, break up long talks with interaction. Every 5 to 10 minutes, ask, "What's one thought you have?" or share a quick poll. This keeps energy high. Practice this in your next virtual talk by adding one interactive moment and noting the response. Energy is contagious. Bring it, and your audience will follow. Consistent practice is what makes you a virtual pro. Virtual speaking feels different from in-person, so rehearse regularly to get comfortable. Set up your space and practice a short talk weekly, treating it like a real meeting. Record it and check your setup, energy, and connection techniques. For example, are you looking at the camera? Is your voice lively? A freelancer I knew struggled with virtual client calls until she practiced weekly, tweaking her lighting and tone. Her confidence soared, and clients started signing faster. Try this. Schedule a 10-minute practice session each week. Deliver a talk, record it, and adjust one thing, like smiling more or adding a question. You can also join virtual groups, like online Toastmasters, to practice with others and get feedback. Consistent practice turns virtual speaking into second nature, so you're ready for any call. Let's add more action steps to command virtual spaces. First, build connection. In your next virtual meeting, greet one person by name and look at the camera for 5 seconds. Note their reaction. Second, boost energy. Practice a 1-minute talk, recording and tweaking for vocal variety and gestures. Use it in a real call. Third, add interaction. In your next virtual talk, include one question or poll and see how the audience responds. Finally, practice weekly. Set up your space, deliver a short talk, and record it. Adjust one element, like energy or setup, each time. These steps will make you a virtual leader who shines through any screen. Your virtual presence is becoming a force. Every connection you build, every burst of energy, every practice session is making you a speaker who commands attention online. Imagine leading a Zoom call where everyone's engaged, inspired, and ready to act. That's where you're headed. Keep practicing, stay engaging, and let your voice rule the virtual world. You're not just speaking, you're captivating from anywhere. Chapter 9. Overcoming obstacles. Speaking with authority isn't always smooth sailing. Fear, filler words, and external barriers like language or culture can hold you back. This chapter is about tackling those obstacles head-on with practical tools to build confidence and clarity. We'll cover overcoming stage fright, eliminating filler words, and navigating cultural or language challenges. Your voice is stronger than any hurdle. Let's clear the path so you can speak with power, no matter what stands in your way. Stage fright is a common obstacle. About 75% of people fear public speaking, according to surveys. That shaky feeling doesn't mean you're weak, it means you care. The trick is gradual exposure. Start small. Speak to one person, like a friend, about a topic you know well. Then try a small group, like a team meeting. Each step builds confidence. A student I coached was terrified of class presentations. She started by sharing ideas in study groups, then volunteered for short talks. By semester's end, she presented to 30 classmates without a hitch. To practice, commit to one small speaking opportunity this week, like sharing a thought in a meeting. Note how it feels. Another tool is positive self-talk. Before speaking, say, "I'm prepared and my voice matters." This shifts your mindset. Try this. Write a one-sentence affirmation and say it before your next talk. Gradual exposure and positive words turn fear into fuel. Filler words like or weaken your authority. They sneak in when you're nervous or thinking on the spot. To eliminate them, slow down and pause instead. For example, if you're about to say, take a 1-second pause to gather your thoughts. A colleague I knew used to pepper her talks with "like." She practiced pausing during casual chats, and within weeks, her presentations sounded polished. Try the no filler challenge. For one day, speak without fillers in daily conversations. If you slip, pause and restart. Another trick is to rehearse key points aloud so you're less likely to stall. Practice this. Pick a topic, talk for 1 minute, and record yourself. Count fillers and aim to reduce them each try. Cutting fillers makes your words crisp and commanding. Navigating cultural or language barriers can feel daunting, especially if you're speaking to diverse groups or as a non-native speaker. The key is clarity over perfection. Use simple words and short sentences to ensure understanding. For example, instead of "we must optimize our workflow," say, "let's make our work easier." A non-native English speaker I coached worried her accent made her sound unprofessional. She focused on clear, slow speech, and her colleagues valued her ideas more. To practice, explain a simple idea, like your job, in 5 sentences using basic words. Record and check for clarity. Another tip: learn one cultural norm of your audience, like greeting styles, to build rapport. Try this. Before your next diverse group talk, research one custom, like nodding to show respect, and use it. Clarity and small gestures bridge any gap. Let's add action steps to overcome obstacles. First, tackle stage fright. Speak to one person this week, then a small group, and note your progress. Second, cut fillers. Do the no filler challenge for 1 day, pausing instead of saying Third, practice clarity for barriers. Explain a simple idea in 5 clear sentences, recording to check. Finally, face a fear. Sign up for one public speaking event, like an open mic, within 30 days. These steps will clear your path to powerful speech. You're stronger than any obstacle. Every small talk, every paused every clear sentence is proof you can overcome anything. Imagine speaking with such confidence that no fear or barrier holds you back. That's the power you're building. Start now, keep pushing, and let your voice rise above every challenge. You're not just speaking, you're breaking through. You're tackling obstacles like stage fright, filler words, and cultural or language barriers with practical tools. Now let's focus on handling criticism, building resilience, and creating a support system to keep pushing forward. These strategies will help you stay strong when doubts or setbacks hit, ensuring your voice remains powerful no matter the challenge. Obstacles aren't roadblocks, they're stepping stones to a bolder you. Let's clear the final hurdles and make your speech unstoppable. Handling criticism can feel like a punch, but it's a chance to grow. When someone critiques your speaking, maybe they say you're too quiet or unclear, don't take it personally. Instead, listen for the useful bits and let the rest go. For example, if a colleague says, "Your presentation was hard to follow," ask, "What part could I clarify?" This shows you're open and focused on improvement. A graphic designer I coached got feedback that her pitches were rushed. She asked for specifics, slowed her pacing, and her next pitch landed a client. To practice after your next talk, ask one person, "What's one thing I could do better?" Write down their answer and work on it for a week. Another trick, reframe criticism as coaching. Before a talk, tell yourself, "Any feedback will make me stronger. Try this." Say that phrase aloud 3 times before your next speaking moment. Criticism isn't failure. It's fuel for your authority. Building resilience keeps you going when obstacles pile up. Speaking with power takes time, and setbacks, like a shaky talk or a tough audience, are normal. Resilience means bouncing back with determination. One way to build it is to reflect on past wins. Think of a time you overcame a challenge, like nailing a project under pressure. That strength is still in you. A server I knew bombed a team presentation and wanted to quit public speaking. She listed 3 times she'd succeeded, like calming an angry customer, and realized she could try again. To practice, write down one past success each day for a week. Read it when you feel discouraged. Another tip, set small, achievable goals. Instead of "I'll never be nervous," aim for "I'll speak clearly in my next meeting." Try this. Set one speaking goal for this week, like using fewer fillers, and track your progress. Resilience turns setbacks into comebacks, keeping your voice strong. Creating a support system gives you a boost when obstacles feel heavy. Surround yourself with people who cheer you on, friends, colleagues, or a mentor who believes in your growth. Share your speaking goals with them and ask for encouragement or feedback. For example, tell a friend, "I'm working on pausing more. Can you listen to my next talk?" A teacher I coached joined a local speaking club and found a mentor who gave her tips after every speech. Her confidence soared because she wasn't alone. To practice, identify one person you trust and share a speaking goal, like, "I want to sound more confident." Ask them to check in with you in a week. Another idea, join a group like Toastmasters or an online forum to connect with others working on their speech. Try this. Attend one meeting or post in a forum this month, sharing one challenge and one win. A support system lifts you up, making obstacles feel smaller. Let's add more action steps to overcome obstacles. First, handle criticism. After your next talk, ask someone, "What's one thing I could improve?" Work on their feedback for a week. Second, build resilience. Write down one past success daily for a week and read it when you're down. Third, set a small goal. Pick one speaking skill, like pausing, and practice it in one conversation daily. Finally, find support. Share a speaking goal with a friend or join a speaking group like Toastmasters this month. These steps will make you tougher than any hurdle. You're breaking through every barrier with every step you take. Criticism, setbacks, and doubts can't stop you. They're just part of your journey to a powerful voice. Imagine speaking with such strength that no obstacle slows you down. That's where you're going. Keep pushing, keep growing, and let your voice soar. You're not just speaking, you're rising above. Chapter 10. Sustaining your voice. You've built a powerful voice through clarity, confidence, storytelling, and resilience. Now it's about keeping that voice strong for the long haul. This chapter is about creating lasting habits, seeking feedback, and caring for your vocal and mental health to ensure your authority grows over time. Your voice isn't a one-time achievement. It's a lifelong tool for impact. Let's set you up to sustain it so you can speak with power for years to come. Creating lasting habits is the backbone of a sustained voice. Consistency turns skills into instincts. Set aside 10 minutes daily to practice one technique from this book. Maybe a vocal warm-up, a story, or a confidence exercise. For example, spend 5 minutes on diaphragmatic breathing and 5 on practicing a pitch. A lawyer I coached made a habit of reading aloud for 10 minutes daily to keep her voice clear. Years later, she's known for commanding courtrooms. To practice, pick one skill, like pausing, and practice it every morning for a week. Write down what you did and how it felt. Another tip: schedule a weekly speaking check-in. Review one talk you gave, even a casual one, and note one strength and one area to improve. Try this. Set a reminder for Sunday evenings to do this review. Habits keep your voice sharp, like sharpening a blade. Seeking feedback ensures you keep growing. Even the best speakers need input to stay sharp. Regularly ask trusted people, colleagues, friends, or a coach for specific feedback. For instance, after a meeting, ask, "Did my main point come across clearly?" A manager I knew asked her team for feedback monthly, like, "How's my clarity in briefings?" Their tips helped her refine her style, and she became a top communicator. To practice, after your next talk, ask one person what stood out and what could be better. Act on their advice for your next speech. Another idea: record yourself speaking once a month and review it with a mentor or friend. Try this. Schedule a recording session this month and share it with someone for input. Feedback is your compass. It keeps you on track. Caring for your vocal and mental health protects your voice's foundation. For your voice, stay hydrated. Drink 8 glasses of water daily to keep your vocal cords flexible. Avoid straining by not yelling or talking loudly for long periods. If your throat feels tired, rest it for a few hours. A singer I coached saved her voice by sipping water all day and resting after long rehearsals. Her speaking voice stayed clear for presentations. To practice, carry a water bottle and sip every hour. For mental health, manage stress with 5-minute mindfulness breaks. Close your eyes, breathe deeply, and focus on your breath. A salesperson I knew used this before client calls to stay calm, and her pitches improved. Try this. Do a 5-minute mindfulness break daily for a week and note how it affects your mood. A healthy voice and mind keep you speaking with power. Let's add action steps to sustain your voice. First, build a habit. Practice one skill, like a vocal warm-up, for 10 minutes daily and track it. Second, seek feedback. After your next talk, ask someone what worked and what could improve. Apply their tip. Third, care for health. Drink 8 glasses of water daily and do a 5-minute mindfulness break each day. Finally, set a long-term goal. Create a 90-day plan with weekly speaking tasks, like practicing stories or joining a group, and check in with a mentor monthly. These steps will keep your voice strong for life. Your voice is a gift that grows with care. Every habit, every piece of feedback, every mindful moment is building a legacy of power. Imagine speaking with the same strength years from now, inspiring everyone you meet. That's the future you're creating. Start now, stay committed, and let your voice echo forever. You're not just speaking, you're leaving a mark. You're building a foundation to keep your voice powerful with daily habits, feedback, and care for your vocal and mental health. Now, let's focus on lifelong learning, adapting to new contexts, and inspiring others to ensure your speaking authority grows stronger over time. These strategies will help you maintain and expand your skills, so your voice remains a force in any situation, today, tomorrow, and years from now. Your voice is a lifelong asset, and you're about to make it unstoppable. Let's dive in and keep it thriving. Lifelong learning keeps your speaking skills sharp and relevant. The world changes, new technologies, audiences, and challenges emerge, so you need to stay curious. Read books, watch speeches, or take courses to pick up fresh techniques. For example, a podcast on public speaking might teach you a new way to open a talk, like starting with a bold question. A politician I coached stayed relevant by watching TED Talks monthly, borrowing ideas like storytelling hooks. Her speeches kept audiences engaged even after decades in office. To practice, commit to one learning activity this month. Read a chapter of a book like Talk Like TED by Carmine Gallo, or watch a speech online. Write down one new idea and try it in your next talk. Another tip: teach what you learn. Explaining a skill, like pausing, to a friend reinforces it for you. Try this. Share one speaking tip with a colleague this week and discuss how it works. Learning keeps your voice dynamic, so you're always growing. Adapting to new contexts ensures your voice fits any stage. A casual team meeting needs a different tone than a formal conference or a virtual webinar. Pay attention to the setting and adjust your style. Maybe more humor for a friendly crowd, more data for a serious one. A salesperson I knew struggled with shifting from in-person to virtual pitches. She practiced tailoring her tone, warmer for Zoom, firmer for boardrooms, and soon excelled in both. To practice, pick a short talk like a work update and deliver it 3 ways, as if to friends, executives, or an online group. Record each and notice how your tone, pace, or words change. Another idea: observe the context before speaking. In your next meeting, note the mood. Are people stressed or relaxed? And tweak your approach, like adding a story to lighten tension. Try this. In your next talk, spend 1 minute observing the setting and adjust one element, like your energy. Adapting makes your voice versatile, ready for any moment. Inspiring others amplifies your impact and strengthens your own voice. When you encourage colleagues, friends, or family to speak with authority, you reinforce your own skills and build a community of confident communicators. Share your journey. Tell someone how you overcame stage fright or cut fillers. A teacher I coached started a speaking club at her school, helping students practice pitches. Teaching them clarified her own techniques, and her presentations got sharper. To practice, mentor one person this month. Offer to listen to their talk and give one tip, like try pausing after your main point. Another tip: celebrate others' progress. When a colleague nails a speech, say, "Your clarity was awesome." This builds a supportive vibe that lifts everyone. Try this. Compliment one person's speaking skill this week and note how it feels. Inspiring others makes your voice part of something bigger, creating a ripple effect of confidence. Let's add more action steps to sustain your voice. First, commit to learning. This month, read one chapter or watch one speech and try one new technique in a talk. Second, adapt to context. Practice a short talk 3 ways: casual, formal, virtual, and record to compare. Third, inspire someone. Mentor one person by giving them a speaking tip and follow up in a week. Finally, review your progress. At the end of each month, write down one speaking win and one goal for next month, like, I use more stories, next I'll work on virtual energy. These steps will keep your voice growing year after year. You're not just sustaining a voice, you're building a legacy of impact. Every new skill, every adapted talk, every person you inspire is proof your voice is here to stay. Imagine speaking with the same power a decade from now, turning heads and changing lives. That's the path you're on. Keep learning, keep adapting, and let your voice shine forever. You're not just speaking, you're shaping the future. Conclusion: you've journeyed through how to speak with authority and power, transforming your voice into a tool that commands attention, inspires trust, and drives action. From mastering clarity and confidence to crafting stories and navigating tough talks, you've built skills to shine in any setting: meetings, virtual calls, or personal moments. Each chapter gave you practical tools, from vocal warm-ups to I statements, and every step you take makes you stronger. Speaking with authority isn't about being perfect, it's about being real, prepared, and bold. You've learned to read rooms, overcome fears, and sustain your voice for the long haul. Now, it's time to use these skills. Start small, share a story, lead a meeting, or face a tough conversation with your new tools. Every word you speak is a chance to lead, connect, and grow. Your voice is yours to wield. It's powerful, unique, and ready to make a difference. Don't wait for permission or the right moment. Step into any room, any call, any challenge, and let your words ring true. You've got everything you need to speak with power. Now go out and do it. The world is waiting to hear you.